Aloha! My name is Darren Lerner, and I am the director of the University of Hawaiʻi Sea Grant College Program, otherwise known as Hawaiʻi Sea Grant. Hawaiʻi Sea Grant supports an innovative program of research, education, and extension services directed toward the improved understanding and stewardship of coastal and marine resources of the state, region, and nation. This is Hawaiʻi Sea Grant Podcast number 1, Waterworks.
Aloha, my name is Rachel, and I'm a communications specialist at Hawaiʻi Sea Grant. Welcome to our 321 podcast. This podcast features research supported by Hawaiʻi Sea Grant. Each episode highlights a new project and the people that make that project possible. I'll ask these researchers to define 3 words commonly used in their research, give them 2 minutes to explain how their research benefits communities here in Hawaii, and end by asking them to provide one thing they know about each other than their research. So, 3 words, 2 minutes, and 1 thing. It's a 321 podcast. We're learning about water economics this podcast. Here to share their research are Peter Fuleky and his graduate fellow, Sisi Zhang. Let's start by introducing yourselves.
Hi, my name is Peter Fuleky, and I am an associate professor with the Economic Research Organization and in the Department of Economics at the University of Hawaii at Manoa.
Hi, I'm Sisi, and I'm a graduate fellow in the Economic Department.
So 3 words you use a lot in your research are economic activity, water use, and water demand. Can you explain what these words mean?
We are trying to track economic activity in individual sectors, tourism being very important in Hawaii, but there is also healthcare and agriculture, as you mentioned, construction, retail, and each of these has been actually surveyed and has typical levels of water use.
So what we do is to summarize all these economics activities into an economics index, and we link the economics index to water consumption, so we can focus the water consumption in the future. So that's the general idea.
So the difference between water use and water demand is that water use is essentially just the quantity of water consumed. And we can track it over time or track it across different locations, but it's in some sense disconnected from economic activity. Water demand does the connection. It goes to the next step where we are looking at, okay, this is the amount of water being used in these conditions, and the conditions are the ones that in some sense determine water use, for example, prices. And so as soon as we connect water use to another variable that drives the consumption of water, we are talking about water demand. When we are only looking at the amount of water consumed on its own, we are talking about water use.
All right, well, tell me in 2 minutes or less how your research specifically benefits the communities here in Hawaii.
So it will help the stakeholders like the investors for hotels, resorts, and also the water authorities to make better future plans on water supply, and also like where and how much hotels and resorts to invest.
Well, that's a wrap. But before we go, we want to ask you, what's one thing, Peter, that you know about Sisi other than her research?
I know that Sisi plays the saxophone, and
nice.
I really would like to listen to her once, and I hope she's going to invite me to one of her concerts in the future.
Do you play with a group here on campus?
No, not really. I just play solo.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah, Kenny G style.
Okay. And Sisi, what's one thing you know about Peter other than his research?
Peter, he rides motorcycle.
Ooh, I love bikes.
Yeah, I do too, and mine is a chopper.
Very good. And you're careful, right? You have a helmet and everything.
Yeah.
He's sensible.
Yeah, that's very cool among professors.
Yes, I would think so. All right, stay tuned for our next podcast, and mahalo for listening. Aloha.
Aloha.
This Hawaiʻi Sea Grant 321 podcast featured 3 songs: Happiness by bensound.com, Ukulele by bensound.com, and Cute by bensound.com. Find them on iTunes and bensound.com.